they saw a fresh footprint appeared from nowhere.
What's that barefooted invisible man doing in front of the house, in middle of London? Let's follow the footprints.
They ran after the footprints on the mud appearing from nowhere. But, after some time, the footprints became fainter and fainter, and finally, disappeared.
What a mystery. The mystery was simple. The footprints were made by a scientist who had just discovered to make human body transparent. Griffin, the scientist, carried out experiment after experiment to prove that human body can become invisible. Finally, Griffin swallowed certain rare drugs, and his body became transparent as a sheet of glass. It was solid, but transparent. My landlord dislikes me, and he always tries to eject me out from his home. Now, I will set this house on fire. Griffin was very angry with his landlord. His landlord disliked him, and always tried to out him from his house. So, in revenge, Griffin set fire to the house. To get away without being seen, Griffin had to remove his clothes. As he had burnt the house where he lived, he became homeless. Thus, Griffin was a homeless wanderer, without clothes, without money. But he had one thing: he was invisible. Oh, I have chose a bad time to be invisible. It is midwinter. I can't wear clothes, and it's bitterly cold.
Instead of walking in the cold streets, Griffin decided to enter a big London store for warmth.
Griffin had to sit in the store until it closed.
Closing time arrived. As soon as the doors were shut, Griffin gave himself pleasure of clothing and eating, without thinking about the cost. He broke boxes and wrappers, and wore warm clothes. He wore shoes, an overcoat, and a wide hat. He became visible. In the kitchen, he found cold meat and coffee. Finally, he slept on a pile of quilts.
If Griffin would have managed to wake up early, all might have been well. But it was not. He woke up only after the assistants come to the store and seen him. A headless man in the store.
As Griffin saw a couple of them approaching, he began to run. They chased him. In the end, he was able to escape only by quickly taking off his newly found clothes.
Oh, I am once more invisible. But naked in this chilled January air, I will try the stock of a theatrical company. Because I not only want clothes, but also something that can cover the space above my shoulders.
Shivering with cold, he hurried to Drury Lane, the center of the theater world. He found a suitable shop. He went upstairs, and came. Wearing bandages round his forehead, dark glasses, false nose, side whiskers, and a large hat. To escape without being seen, he attacked the shopkeeper from behind. He robbed all the money he could find.
I am very eager to go away from London.
So, he took a train to the village of Liping. He booked 2 rooms in a local inn, and gave advance the money he robbed from the shopkeeper at the theater store. The arrival of a stranger at an inn in winter is simply an unusual event. Upon this, a stranger of such an uncommon appearance made Mr. Hall surprised. Mrs. Hall, her wife, tried to be friendly. "Hello, mister.
My reason of coming here is my desire to be alone. I don't want to be disturbed. Besides, an accident has affected my face."
Okay, he's an eccentric scientist. And he has even paid in advance. So I will handle the strange habits and anger of this strange person. But, the stolen money didn't last long. So, Griffin told that he was out of money, and he's expecting a check in some days.
This episode occurred in early morning. A clergyman and his wife awakened by noises in the study room. Did you hear that sound?
Someone must be taking out money from desk in the study.
We'll silently go there. Surrender. But the room is empty.
They both looked under the desk, behind the curtains, and even up the chimney. There was no sign of anybody. But money was missing.
Extraordinary affair.
He kept saying throughout the day.
But something much more extraordinary happened to the landlord's wife. The same morning, a little later.
The scientist's door is wide open.
Usually, it's shut and locked.
And he always got angry when someone tries to enter his room.
Let's enter the room. We shouldn't miss this chance. We will know about his strangeness.
There's nobody here. We'll investigate.
The bedsheet is cold. It means the scientist has been up for some time.
The bandages and clothes he wore are lying here. I heard a sniff close to my ear.
There's no one.
A hat on the bedpost leapt up and dashed itself into her face. Then, the chair became alive. As she and her husband turned away in terror, the chair pushed them out of the room, and then the door locked. The room is haunted by spirits, and the spirits are entered by the strange scientist. My poor mother used to sit in the chair, to think, it can rise against me.
The neighbors felt the trouble was caused by witchcraft. But when news of burglary at the clergyman's home became known, the strange scientist was strongly suspected of having a hand in it. That suspicion became even stronger when the scientist produced ready cash to the landlord, because he had said that he had no money. The village constable was strictly sent to investigate about him. Mrs. Hall couldn't wait for the constable and went to the scientist.
I want to know what you have been doing to my chair upstairs. And I want to know how you came out of an empty room, how you entered a locked room. You were not in the room when the room was locked by chair. Griffin was short-tempered, so he couldn't stop himself.
You don't know where or what I am. Very well. I will show you. Suddenly, he threw off his bandages, whiskers, glasses, and the false nose. It took him a minute to do so. The horrified people in the bar found staring at a headless man.
Mr. Jeffers, the constable, arrived. He was surprised to know he had to catch a headless man.
If Magistrate's warrant has order to arrest a person, he has to be arrested with or without head.
As the policeman tried to catch him, the scientist threw off his clothes and finally became fully invisible. Jeffers was knocked to unconscious.
There were cries of, "Hold him! Hold him!" But this was easier said than done. Griffin was free again. But no one knows where to catch him.